shortly. Good morning, everyone. I'll call the meeting of October the 1st to order, and we'll start with our roll call. And from Asphodel Norwood, Mayor Wilford.
Present.
Deputy Mayor Burt. Present. From Cavan Monaghan, Mayor Grain.
Present.
Deputy Mayor Huntley.
Here.
And from Douro Dummer, Mayor Watson. Good morning. And Deputy Mayor Nelson.
Present.
And from Havelock, Belmont, Methuen, Mayor Martin.
Present.
Deputy Mayor Webb.
Here.
And from North Kawartha online, we have Mayor Amiot.
Good morning.
And Deputy Mayor Whalen.
Here.
And Otonabee South Monaghan, Mayor Taylor.
Here.
Myself, Deputy Mayor Clark. And in Selwyn online, we have the Deputy Warden and Mayor Senes.
Present.
And Deputy Mayor Black.
Present.
And from Trent Lakes online, we have Mayor Lambshead.
I am present.
And Deputy Mayor Armstrong. Good morning. All right, welcome. We'll now start with our land acknowledgement.
With deep respect, we acknowledge the lands and interconnected waterways that bind us together, the foundation for all life. These lands serve as a keeper of history and stories and are a source of inspiration. In recognizing this, we embrace that all living things possess an important energy and purpose. We extend the utmost gratitude to the original peoples who have been caretakers of these lands and waters of this region from time immemorial, and to this day who continue this commitment. Peterborough County's dedication to reconciliation remains steadfast. In this spirit, we are committed to nurturing meaningful partnerships and connections that contribute to an environment of prosperity and well-being for all generations to come. This acknowledgement is made on the Treaty 20 land and the territory of the Mississauga Anishinaabe, and within the traditional lands of the Mississauga and Chippewa nations, collectively known as the Williams Treaty First Nations. Further, our gratitude is extended to the nations of Alderville, Beausoleil, Curve Lake, Georgina Island, Hiawatha, Rama, and Scugog Island.
Thank you. We need a motion to adopt our agenda for today, and moved by Councillor Graham, second by Councillor Wilford. All in favor? Thank you. Does anyone have a declaration of pecuniary interest in the agenda item? And if so, please tell us the nature of. I see none. We have the minutes from September 10th in our package. A mover for those, please. Councillor Lambshead and Councillor Taylor, all in favor? Thank you. And we have a presentation, certainly one that 40 years of service is monumental, and we'll ask Lynn Fawn to come forward. She has been the face of the county and has molded certainly what we are today, both in the county and also at Lang. And well done, Lynn. On behalf of County Council, I want to thank you for all those years of service. And can you do another 40 years for us? We'd love to have you. So on behalf of councils past and present, please accept our gratitude for all those years. And I'll turn it over to our CAO, Sheridan Gray.
Thank you, and through you. It's not often that we honor somebody who has more than 40 years service with the county. And we had the pleasure of being able to honor Lynn last week at Lang with a lot of our staff and some council members as well. I'd like to just share a retirement poem for Lynn. Some of you have already heard it, but I'm just going to repeat it. The Face of the County, Lynn Fawn. For 40 years, you've stood with pride through every challenge side by side. A steady hand, a guiding light, you've made the toughest moments bright. You welcomed all with warmth and grace, a trusted voice, a friendly face. Through seasons past, both calm and storm, your presence kept the county warm. The years reflect what words can't show, the lives you've touched, the seeds you've sown. Commitment rare, a heart so true, this place is stronger thanks to you. Though now you leave this daily race, you'll always be the county's face. A legacy that shines so clear, we honor you with joy and cheer. So take this time, well earned, well spent, a golden chapter, heaven sent. With gratitude, we say today, enjoy retirement, Lynn. Hip, hip, hooray. And then this is a contribution to Lynn's retirement on behalf of the county. She's chosen to pamper herself well at Salon Soleil. And so, Lynn. Flowers are for you.
Ah,
Thank you. Thank you for you. I'll put them here. They're pretty heavy. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Sheridan, for the kind words. Thank you, Board and Clerk and Council. It's difficult to put into words what this journey has meant. I've had the privilege of working alongside many dedicated colleagues, staff, and elected officials, all committed to serving the people of our county. Over these past 4 decades, I've seen growth, change, and progress. The work done here matters, and I've been fortunate to have been a part of that work behind the scenes. While it's not easy to say goodbye, I leave with gratitude for the opportunities that have been provided to me and the trust that's been placed in me. The many special friendships made over the years and wonderful memories I will carry with me into the next exciting chapter. Thank you again. It's truly been an honor.
and would you come down to the front? I'd like to present you with this, but also if we could get a picture of council and maybe in front of the screen as well, so we can. I think maybe a few down the front with us so we can get the screen into.
Yeah, it'd be nice to find a second.
Yeah.
We stand here, it's not working.
No, all you back,
Back row.
gentlemen, go to the front.
I sit in the front.
Chance, Carol. Yeah.
We go down there.
Yes,
Good, right, Carol, down.
yeah, just so if you can.
So more gentlemen at the back. There we go.
Okay, that, you do that?
Yes.
You got
Right.
that?
Everybody in the I can see Terry Lanshead, everybody smile, 1, 2, 3, here we go, and another one. For good luck, okay, thanks.
So lots of announcements this morning. I'm pleased to announce the appointment of Marissa Martin to the position of Deputy Clerk within Legislative Services for the county. This marks a meaningful milestone for the county as the Deputy Clerk role has remained vacant since March 2021. With the upcoming retirement of Lynn Fawn, this appointment reflects the strength of the county's succession planning and our commitment to ensuring stability and continuity within the clerk's office. Marissa's promotion is a testament to her accomplishments, dedication, and also leadership. And it reinforces our goal of building capacity for the future for Peterborough County. Please join me in congratulating Marissa on this well-deserved advancement, and we look forward to her continued commitment and contributions to this role. So you realize, Marissa, you've just signed up for 40 years. Okay. And I'd like to welcome Paul Rellinger. He is Chair of the United Way campaign for 2025 to 2026 for United Way. And Sheridan Graham, our CIO, is also on the campaign committee. And we started the kickoff here at the county with the breakfast this morning. So thank you, and the podium is yours.
Thanks so much. You guys have breakfast like that every day? I might have to apply for a job. I mean, there's a spot in Lindsley, right? Thank you. Okay. Good morning, Your Worship, Warden Clark, members of County Council. Thank you for this opportunity to speak to the 2025-26 United Way campaign. As mentioned, my name is Paul Rellinger, and as campaign chair, I bring greetings from United Way of Peterborough and District CEO Jim Russell and his incredible staff, two of whom are here, Elise and Adeline, and our 20 funding supported partner agencies and the countless volunteers who are again rolling up their sleeves with the aim of building community and changing lives. Last Thursday, at the conclusion of a spirited campaign launch, the best attended such event in years, this year's campaign goal of $1.6 million was revealed. This marks an increase from the previous campaign's result of $1.51 million, an amount which exceeded the goal of $1.5 million. This year's goal is aspirational, as it should be. The only thing greater than the dollar need is the need for those partner agencies working on the front lines of social inequity. They're doing so in the realm of tough times, adversely affecting so many of our neighbors. Back in late March, shortly after being asked to chair the campaign and having fully digested the honor of such trust and confidence that represents, one of my first tasks was to assemble my campaign cabinet. These are well-connected community leaders who would advise me on campaign strategy, open doors previously closed for whatever reason, and brainstorm new ideas and approaches. And generally to keep the momentum going throughout the campaign. Reviewing the makeup of past cabinets, one omission jumped off the page. There was no representation from Peterborough County. I laid no blame for that oversight. There is no blame to be assigned, but instead I committed to making things right in that regard. And hence, in early June, I met with County CAO Sheridan Graham to solicit her help in finding a candidate from the county to help us out on cabinet. Well, the right candidate was sitting right before me. CAO Graham offered to sit on cabinet, and believe me when I say I couldn't say yes quick enough. Why is it important to have county representation on cabinet? A couple of reasons. Going back to the 2020 campaign, donations emanating from Peterborough County, be they from residents, businesses, the county itself, or other entities, have increased dramatically from $119,783 that year to the 2024 result of $155,168. That's a remarkable trend. All the more remarkable when one considers the increasingly challenging times of the past few years, which greatly impacts the ability to give. In keeping with the recent epidemic of Blue Jays fever, county residents have stepped up to the plate and delivered in the clutch. But more than that, I love baseball analogies, so I'm going to use another one. More than that, just like the Blue Jays have their big hitters, it's the role players that have helped that team get to where it is. And it's much the same with the campaign. We have our big hitters. We have our Trenton Universities, we have our GM Financials, we have individual donors who make huge donations year after year. But it's those role players, those who give $5, $10, $15, $20. That's where the bulk of our money is coming from, and we should never lose sight of that. In addition, of the partner agencies that the campaign supports, over the past year, I have verified they delivered vital, life-enhancing, and in some cases, life-saving services and programs to residents in all 8 townships and our two First Nation communities. Of the remainder, services were provided to most municipalities in the county. These are real people, your neighbors in Peterborough County, who have benefited greatly from partner agency services and programs funded by the campaign. United Way campaign dollars coming from the county benefit all those who call it home by allowing for the continued provision of resources that are increasingly vital to the health and well-being of your communities. As the campaign theme says, building community and changing lives. What does that look like? Well, last year, through its funding of needed services and programs, the United Way invested $2.2 million. That added up to an astonishing total of 306,000 funded service interactions. I suspect today I'm a bit of a breath of fresh air as I stand before you. I'm not asking for money, not yet. I'm not seeking a zoning bylaw amendment or a land severance. I'm not here because my neighbor's fence is too high. And I'm not here to question how my tax dollars are being spent. I'm here today to simply and respectfully ask for your help spreading the word of the United Way campaign and its inherent need in each of your municipalities. As community leaders who carry great influence, whose words and actions matter, anything you can do in person, via social media, or via your personal or municipal websites to highlight the need and the resulting county benefit of a successful campaign would be huge in keeping the momentum going. Momentum is indeed inevitable when we come together with a common goal. Back in 2020, the first United Way organized Peterborough Performs live music event raised close to $24,000 for the campaign. This year's event saw just under 37,000 brought in, bringing the total return of 5 events to date to just shy of $150,000. That's momentum, and that's the power of community. While we can and should celebrate the success of the past campaign, we must not lose sight of the need that remains and is greater in many respects. The United Way campaign does much more than direct much needed dollars to where they can do the most good. The campaign provides hope for a better tomorrow, reinforcing what many of us already know, that our communities care for and look after their own, that our communities reject poverty, homelessness, food insecurity, abuse, and social injustice in all its forms, and does what it can, what it must, to lessen the burden of those who, for whatever reason, are caught up in the continued spiral of inequity. Empower everyone to improve lives and build strong communities. That's how the United Way mission statement reads. Everyone in every community has the opportunity to reach their potential, reads the United Way's vision statement. The term everyone is common to both those statements for good reason. The United Way campaign belongs to everyone, to the benefit of everyone. It's not Jim Russell's campaign. It's not the United Way staff's campaign or that of the United Way board. It's certainly not my campaign or that of cabinet. It's our campaign. Its giving spirit and its ultimate success dependent on each of us. Giving is defined as providing love or other emotional support. That's true, but there's another aspect of giving that we should and must keep front of mind. Giving is an act we're all capable of on some level, if not monetarily, then by the selfless provision of our time, talent, and spirit. That said, the bottom line is the bottom line. Dollars are needed to ensure each partner agency can continue to provide the services so vital to the safety, health, and mental well-being of our neighbors. And so we respectfully ask that everyone who can do what they can with the assurance that every dollar raised here stays here, transforming lives in so many ways. There's no going back. There's only forward. And forward we will go together, like we always have, like we always will. I stand here wholly confident that come spring of next year, the campaign result will see us come together to say in one voice, this place that we call home cares, sees wrong and works to right it, and that's what makes it home. It's easy, too easy to ignore the struggle and plight of others. Too many of us, actually one is too many, shift the narrative to cast blame on the shoulders of those in need as if it's their fault. Nothing I say here today will change that. People will say what people say, but I will remind you of one fact. Any one of us, your families, your neighbors could be relying tomorrow, or next day, or next month, or next year on the services provided by any one of our partner agencies. Life can and often does turn in a heartbeat. Anne Frank wrote, "No one has ever become poor from giving." If a child living through the worst times imaginable can express such empathy, can't we all? We can, and there's no better time than right now. Campaign chair is a big title for this little man. Don't be fooled. I stand here as a humble representative of the thousands of volunteers who for more than 80 years have carried high the United Way banner. That's legacy, and that legacy anchors my firm belief that this campaign, like all those before it, will build community and change lives. My deepest thanks for this opportunity to address you this morning, with confidence that each of you, as you meet residents in whatever capacity, will say, if not in voice, then in action, what we're seeing, what we're hearing, and what we're sensing isn't acceptable. We can do better to enhance and enrich the lives of all. We must do better, and we have to do that now. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you for your passion. I think anybody that can stay up on a roof overnight has proven their passion and commitment to our community. And I was really honored when Paul came and asked me to be on the campaign committee, and it was something I couldn't turn down. Thank you for those that joined us for our United Way breakfast this morning, and to the leadership team who contributed their contributions to this big breakfast that we'll probably be eating for 3 days because there's so much food, but thank you. We do have some exciting things coming as part of the county's campaign. We will be having a raffle that will be happening very shortly. We will send that information to staff and council. Some exciting prizes from TVs to Ottawa Senators tickets. Unfortunately, we couldn't get Jays tickets because, you know, they're hard to come by at this point in time, but we'll send that information out, and we look forward to the county exceeding our goal this year with respect to the campaign. Thanks.
Thank you. So first of all, I'd like to thank Elise and Adeline for coming to County Council as well. Paul, for your presentation. I will open it up, but I want to say you've chosen a good one in our CAO. Sheridan Graham is not only a leader, she's a doer. And she comes with an army of staff behind her, and that certainly the food was wonderful this morning, and we'll certainly be following and supporting all the events. So thank you. I'll open it up to questions from council. All right. Well, full support, and thank you very much again for coming, and thank you, staff, for that wonderful breakfast. We'll be expecting that routinely, though, I must say. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we're moving on to consent items, and we have received 8A to be pulled, a request for that. Are there any other items that need to be pulled? I see none. I'm going to turn it over to Councillor Whalen, who asked for this item to be pulled. And Councillor Whalen, we do have Carrie Snoddy, our manager for waste and sustainability, online for any questions. So I'll turn it over to you, Jim.
Thank you very much, Warden. And I did cheat this morning. I talked to Carrie this morning.
Okay.
But I'm going to repeat it again, because when January the 1st comes, just think of what's going to happen, guys. All these people are going to have the recycling out that haven't heard this news, and what's going to happen to it all? Because there's no place right now that we have to take any of it. So I asked Carrie this morning if there couldn't be one depot or two depots or something in the county that would, we could have them bring it to, and it certainly wouldn't cost $800,000, you know, because the people would be bringing it in themselves. They wouldn't be picking it up at the locations and so on and so forth. And also, Carrie, I wonder if you shouldn't have a meeting with all the townships to see if somebody has an idea that's feasible. But the two questions, if you could, please, Carrie.
Great. Yeah, through the warden. So good morning, council. To the first question, as far as setting up a new depot location or locations in the county, really the best option if we wanted to have drop-off locations for the non-eligible sources would be for each township to work through that process, either with Circular Materials, who may have a program coming, which is outlined in the report, as well as reaching out to a contractor to have separate bins at those locations. So there's a few different options laid out there. And that's just because the approvals from the Ministry of Environment are already in place at those transfer stations or landfill, which takes at least a year to get their staffing already in place. All the infrastructure is already there. You would just have to have additional bins. And then to the second question, yes, so the township staff are working really diligently and staying up to date on all of this. I've been in contact with them. They're aware of what the options are. They're working with Circular Materials on their agreements. And we do have a meeting scheduled with myself and all township staff next week, actually, to discuss this. So that way they can, the staff from the different townships can bounce ideas off each other and strategize and come up with a game plan. So that is going to be happening next week.
Thank you, Carrie. And just follow up, Councillor Whalen?
Yeah, just Carrie, have we sold all our bins? I thought the county owned them. Did we sell those bins?
Through the warden. So when we transitioned January 1st, 2024, we did sell those bins to Emterra through the Circular Materials Producer Program. They required the contractor to own the bins at all the sites. The bins weren't in great shape, so it was a good situation for us to be able to sell those bins. So Emterra does own the bins that are at the sites right now.
So when you say that we could do it ourselves, you know, we would be into buying bins and paying for it to be taken away. Is that correct?
Through the warden. So you wouldn't necessarily have to buy the bins. The contractor could supply the bins. You would just be paying for that service. So to give you just a rough idea, I know Asphodel Norwood has gone through the process of getting a quote for their site because their site won't be serviced. And per bin, it was looking at about like around $3,000 or $4,000 a year per bin to be serviced. So that would just depend how many bins that you wanted if you went through a private contractor.
Thanks, Carrie.
Thank you. I have Deputy Warden Senes and Councillor Amiot. And sorry, I have Deputy Warden Senes, then Councillor Black, I think was next in the queue, and then Councillor Amiot. Thank you.
Thank you, through you, Warden. I just wanted to bring attention to our colleagues that something has occurred with regards to the pickup of recycling that has to do with eligibles. And we have a street that has had recycling pickup for the last 40 years. And Emterra has told the residents that they're stopping curbside pickup. They are saying that there's nothing wrong with the street, but it's up to each individual driver if they so choose to pick up or not. So if that's the case, I'm just letting you all know that it might happen on a street near you in your township as to where someone has had the service no longer will. And I don't know how we deal with that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Deputy Warden Senes for that. Maybe back to Carrie on that one. Carrie, my understanding was it was going to be the same service that we were accustomed to. Can you comment on that?
Through the warden, yes. So the producers are required to provide service to all residences throughout the county. Typically, where there's been curbside service in the past, they are continuing to do that. It is up to them how they choose to service the municipalities. So if not all residents have curbside collection, they have to offer some sort of depot location. So that's within their they can decide how they want to provide service. With this specific example, it was the producer responsibility organization, Circular Materials, that made the call on that road, and they determined that it was too narrow because there was a recent construction that was done in the last year. And so that's why they made the decision on that road specifically. And I think that's been brought forward to the province, Dave Smith's office for consideration as well. So I haven't been really specifically involved in that situation because it is out of the county's hands. It's in the producer responsibility, but that's what I'm aware of.
And I suppose the bottom line that there isn't any difference in the bottom line here at all because it's the responsibility of the right. Okay, thank you. Councillor Black.
Thank you, through warden. Yeah, I think the road condition issue on private roads is going to have to be dealt with as they think they'll get pickier and pickier about which roads they're going down. So I think that's something that municipalities are going to end up having to deal with. But thanks for the report, Carrie. I think we've made some progress. The marine issue in the report I brought forward of Kawartha Park Cottage Association. And glad to hear that they recognize that campgrounds and island properties, it is residential recycling and it is their responsibility. The concern I still have within your report is saying that they have the right to determine how they pick up those materials. And I haven't read the legislation. I'm not sure how it's written, but the idea of that providing a depot to cottagers to drop their materials off is useless, frankly. Landfills are closed on Sundays for the most part when they go home. So there's no value to those residents to have a depot option for them. And so I just wonder, from a municipal perspective, what our legal options are within this contract to have Circular Materials provide service as it is today for our residents. This option of opting out where they feel they want to, it's unacceptable to me, and I'm sure it'll be unacceptable to the residents if it happens.
Carrie, would you like to comment?
Okay, through the warden. So the question is, what legal options are there to require producers? There aren't any. Unfortunately, the county is really not involved, or the townships involved in any way, any further as far as eligible source collection. It's between the producers and the Ministry of Environment province, like the province, who is ensuring that they meet their compliance. So if there's an option where we feel, or a resident feels, that they're not meeting their compliance, they can reach out to the Resource Productivity Recovery Authority, which is the province's compliance organization that makes sure that those producers are meeting their requirements. So that's what I would recommend, is that those residents or cottage associations or whomever is dealing with that issue reach out to ensure that they're meeting their compliance.
Thank you, Carrie. And our CAO Sheridan would like to weigh in.
Thank you. And through you, Carrie answered it quite well. The one thing that we can do is provide that contact information directly on our website and to residents so that they can continually follow up and express the concerns that have been raised today.
Thank you.
follow.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you again for you, Warden. No, and that's the information I wanted out there. Clearly, it's between the producers and the residents at this point, and potential civil matters if they feel that they're not being treated fairly, that sort of thing. So thank you for that response.
And Councillor Amiot.
Yes, I thank you. Through you. Yeah, this is going to get really messy really quick. You know, the idea with the contracts, I know in speaking with staff, I mean, it's all individual contracts with every municipality, right? And I know even at the start of this, trying to negotiate them was a real nightmare. Dealing with legal and our own staff, there were some real challenges with it. So, and you like Carrie, you said earlier that, you know, it's kind of silent right now. Nobody really knows what's going on, and you know, CMO's not really coming forward with stuff. So we're waiting till the very last minute, and then we're kind of forced into the issue. But one of the things that I've been thinking about a lot is, you know, how do we get this out to the broader public? How do we make people understand what's going to happen? Because I mean, Sherry, you raised the idea of the food banks, you know, getting that collection, and no longer like all of this stuff. I want to do a video. I want to, like, you know, can we walk down a street when it's recycling pickup day and go eligible, eligible, non-eligible, non-eligible, and like point it out, you know, so clearly, right? And publish it everywhere to show people like this is what's coming. This is how ineffective and how ridiculous, how duplicitous, like if that's the right word, but the duplication and the waste and the inefficiency by going this way. Like I said before, we were doing it very well ourselves, and I think the province needs to reconsider that. And we can just send the bill to the producers, and they can pay for it, because they'll find out once they get the bill from us. If they don't want to pay it, they'll find out ways to reduce the recyclable materials that are being put out. So that's my 2 cents worth for now.
Okay. Now I have a list here. I didn't see the follow-up. Deputy Warden. Oh, thank you. Sorry. So I'm going to have Sheridan step in again, and then I'm going to speak about the advocacy that the county has been doing on this for over 2 years. And I can't stress enough that we need to call our MPPs. That's where this legislation is coming from. They have moved on the multi-residential. It was initially proposed that they did not pick up from those. They have moved on that. AMO is still, and I sat Thursday and Friday in Toronto. This was one of the items that came up. And the fact that here we are in rural and we have a truck driving by businesses that aren't allowed to pick up the business recyclables. We talk about our carbon footprint, the wear and tear on our infrastructure, on our roads. This is not logical. So we do have more than one MPP in Peterborough County. I would like everyone that's listening or in council to please put a call in and bring forth all these. I brought the island issue forward. I brought the trucks driving by and not. There are a lot of issues here. So I've got in Councillor Lambshead, Councillor Taylor, but Sheridan is going to just weigh in as well.
Thank you. And through you to Councillor Amiot's suggestion, I can work with Tracy and Carrie with respect to a communication campaign in that regard. And then also tying into consistent advocacy with the province and delegations at Roma, potentially bringing some type of video to Roma as part of our delegation process. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Lambshead, then Councillor Taylor.
Yes, thank you through you, Warden Clark. We're already experiencing issues with our transfer stations where our recycling bins are completely full. We can't get them dumped. So if you calculate that as our amount of eligible recycling, we're probably going to be okay. But in the wintertime, when there's very little, some of our businesses produce a lot more recycling. So we may have to have 2 or 3 separate bins for ineligible sources. So it's going to be really, really difficult to manage that. I think it's going to be, I don't want to use that terminology that some of our transfer staff use, but it's going to be difficult to manage. And they're saying that they are going to, yeah, you know the words. Circular Materials is going to calculate our eligible and non-eligible amounts. And once we get to eligible amounts are gonna quit, and we have to decide what we're doing with it. So you know what's gonna happen. Most of it's going right into the trash stream. So
Yeah.
I think this is just, we need some major changes to this whole idea. The way we used to do it was much more efficient to get all our people recycling. So just, it's difficult.
Yeah, thank you, Councillor Lambshead, and you did get your opinion forward without using those words, so much appreciated, message received. Thank you. Councillor Taylor.
Thank you, Gordon. I've been approached by several Tony South Monacan Township businesses with a question, and they did get their point forward with very blunt language too. And this is expected. And I think if other council members have not been asked this question, then it's coming. And the question was, of course, facetiously, they said that since we are no longer going to have our recycling picked up, we should expect to see a reduction in our property taxes because that service is no longer being offered. Now, I consulted with Karen, I consulted with Jennifer to make sure that I had the facts straight, because my answer to the businesses was, you have not been paying to have your recycling being picked up since 2024. That has been heavily subsidized by the residents. Correct. Up to 90 or 95% of the cost. So while they may see a very, very, very slight reduction, it won't be noticeable, but they haven't been paying their share of the cost for the last 2 years. So I think it's important that when the businesses are criticizing us and everyone else for the decision, that they be told that, to be made to understand that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any further questions? Okay, none online. So I think we've had a great discussion and some direction going forward on this, and it's all about education and who's making the rules, I think, is what we have to certainly promote. So could I have a motion to receive 8A? And I look at Councillor Whalen, who brought it forward. Councillor Whalen and Deputy Warden Senes, all in favor for that? And then I need a motion to receive the remaining consent items. And I looked at Councillor Watson and Councillor Amiot. All in favor? Thank you. Okay, staff reports, and we'll ask Chief Bronfield to come to the podium.
Thank you, Warden, and good morning. The report that I have before you today, the purpose is to provide Peterborough County Council with recommendation for approval of the Land Ambulance Service Response Time Performance Plan for 2026. This legislation requires annual approved response time performance plans broken out based on the Canadian Triage Acuity System by no later than October 31st of each year. In the spring of the following year, ambulance service providers are then required to submit performance results demonstrating that these targets have been met. The Canadian Triage Acuity System is an international medical triage standard which is utilized by hospitals and ambulance communication services. This Canadian or CTAS acuity scale basically identifies the urgent need to each respective patient when they call 911. Now, 2 of these standards are set by the province, with a sudden cardiac arrest that is determined by the province, where we would see a 50% response in 6 minutes, and CTAS 1 would be 66% of the time, where an ambulance would arrive in 8 minutes or less. Now, PCCP has been able to maintain the response time targets set out within our plan year over year. But we've also had to implement additional deployment strategies and adjustments over the past several years to make sure that we're able to meet these targets. And here's just a few of the changes that we've been able to implement to help ensure that we meet the targets. So thank you to Council, who has continually support our enhancements as they pertain to our 10-year master plan. So that support has been paramount in our ability to respond in a timely fashion. We've also altered our deployment strategies to ensure that we optimize our resources and our vehicles, which includes allocating existing ambulance staffing hours, and then the addition of the new southern base in Millbrook has also improved our response times in the southern area. We also continued to receive funding for the dedicated offload nursing program, which helps relieve our crews at hospital so that they're readily available to respond to calls throughout the community. And then more recently, in March of 2025, the province of Ontario introduced a new priority dispatch system, which is referred to as a medical priority dispatch system. And this system has significantly impacted our ability to allocate our resources accordingly, ensuring that the sickest patients are seen quickly. So on that note, there will be some work that needs to be done in altering our response time performance plans. So although I do not know what those will look like, the province is working with chiefs across Ontario as well as base hospital physicians to determine what that will look like in the way of future response times. Now, our number one priority continues to be to provide the best possible pre-hospital clinical care to the residents and visitors of the county and the city, and to do so in the most effective and efficient method possible. Therefore, I am confident that the response time standards that were set in the previous year, that it is reasonable and attainable for us to continue going into 2026 with those response times. Now, today I would like to share with you some of the data that from your respective municipalities, but with that transition, we are limited in what we can see, and some of those updates are geographical boundary areas that need to be updated in the system. But I do have some information that I can share with you today. But I will note that when I visit your municipalities in the spring, if there is any questions you have in the way of data that you would like me to pull, I'd be happy to do that and bring that to you when I come to your municipalities to present on our key performance indicators. But for today, I wanted to let you know our call volumes actually have been relatively stable. We haven't seen a huge increase. So in 2024, we responded to 42,493 calls in total. 41% of those calls were in the county of Peterborough, and 58.7% were in the city of Peterborough, or 24,950 calls in the city, and respectively 17,543 calls in the county. Thank you, and I open to any questions that you may have.
Thank you, Chief Bromfield. Questions for the chief? Yes, Councillor Huntley.
Through your chair. I'm curious with the CTAS, like the ratings 2 through to 5. I mean, the response time and the percent target are exactly the same. So that just tells me that every call is basically treated exactly the same, regardless of the CTAS. Otherwise, why wouldn't there be a differentiation in that? Maybe you can elaborate on that a little bit for me.
It's a great question. So based on the criteria, as it's said in this report, is based on the previous dispatch acuity system. So for example, last year, if you were to call 911, the ambulance call officers would have two choices in the way of response, which would be an urgent or an emergent. So with the updates, and to your point, now we have five different categories that we can place those calls. So if I were to explain this in terms of like medical, the lower the number in the CTAS, the sicker the patient. So with this new dispatch model, what we're able to do is allocate resources accordingly. So for example, if a paramedic is responding to your home and your call was categorized as a CTAS 4, but that unit was closer to a much more urgent or emergent CTAS 1 or sudden cardiac arrest, that resource would be reallocated, because what we know based on the evidence is that the patients that are categorized in CTAS 3, 4, and 5 can wait longer, but we know our greatest risk exists with those sicker patients. So, I mean, I could break it down in a little bit more depth, but essentially, those updates do change that sort of theory that, that 10-minute idea was basically built around risk mitigation. So I'm hoping to see, and again, it's evidence-based, where we gather this data to make sure that we are minimizing risk where patients are waiting longer, and that we have pretty robust communication strategies in the way of kind of helping people understand what 911 is truly for. Does that answer? Kind of.
Follow up through you.
Sure.
I guess I'm still struggling with why would it all be exactly the same? Like if you, like we get the, the cardiac arrest ones are, immediate or you reroute if there's a lower CTAS that comes in. But shouldn't the targets then reflect that? Because the targets don't reflect that.
Through the warden. I'll try answering that in a different way. Essentially, when a call comes in, it goes into an ambulance call center. So historically, when somebody was to call, they were very limited in the questions they were able to ask. So essentially, categorizing based on risk was essentially what it was, which is why you see those response times reflective, because the information that the ACOs are able to obtain is only as reliable as the person providing the information. So for example, if you were to call 911 and they asked you if you were short of breath and you said yes, automatically that's an acute call. Alternatively, and because they didn't have the research, you might say no, but because there was no evidence to support it, this is why you see that we try to minimize risk. So when we set the standard based on, again, that unreliable caller when they called 911. So the new updated medical priority dispatch system allows for additional questions. And instead of it being, say, 100 call determinants, now we're working within 2,000. So I will tell you, just like these numbers, this response time targets will significantly be different next year. I don't know what that's going to look like because they're still working on these targets. But next year you will see, based on these CTAS numbers, a bigger window where we respond to that call.
Okay, thank you. Sheridan, you'd like to weigh in?
Yeah, thank you. And through you, to Chief Bromfield's point, I think the point is that the province hasn't updated the Ambulance Act yet to reflect the new medical priority dispatch system. So once they do that, those numbers will better reflect what the actual numbers should reflect in the future, but they haven't done it yet, correct?
Thank you. Correct. Yeah. Thank you.
So we will expect some improvements and to Councillor Huntley's, it seems that they're all response time is the same, even though acuity is different, which does not make sense. So we'll look for those updates by the province. Thank you. Councillor Black.
Thank you, through you, Warden. Thanks for the report, Chief. Couple of questions are kind of related. We have a shiny new base in Millbrook now over the past, 6-8 months, I guess it is. Are these response times improved? The 66% and the 50%, are they improved as a result of the new base? Has that changed year over year, I guess, is what I'm saying, as far as our prediction? And has the base in Millbrook resulted in more cross-border movement and calls through from CKL and Northumberland as they contiguous borders with those areas? Does it actually increase the volume of out-of-county calls?
Through one. So that data is what we're waiting for the dispatch system to update so I can pull it to those exact points. So as it stands, even the geographical boundaries are not up to date. So that they're working on that. And one of the other challenges that we have, we previously had used a provider which we were able to filter that information to those specific questions. But the Ministry of Health dashboard or historical data doesn't allow us to filter wholeheartedly to be able to drill it down to that level. I expect within the next couple months we will have that sorted. But yes, we certainly can pull to look at that geographical boundary. We can look to see how often we service calls outside of our municipality, or alternatively how often other services respond in our municipality to those types of calls. And then that helps us sort of drive our deployment strategies as well, and how we allocate our resources throughout the municipality based on call volumes and whatnot.
Just follow up. So with respect to the first question around, have we changed our response time, our target response times in sudden and cardiac arrest in CTSA 1? We're at 50% and 66%. Has that changed year over year, or is it the same?
Through the warden, those two, the sudden cardiac arrest and the CTAS 1, are set by the province. We do not change those.
Okay.
predicting ahead, those are the sickest patients. That's where the priority, the resource is most required. I would expect that we would not see a change to those response targets, but because of the changes to the other numbers, the CTAS 3, 4s, and 5s, then our resources will be more to ensure that we do meet those targets. Those are always the most challenging targets to meet, respectively.
And just to follow up, then we will expect those new provincial numbers to come in this spring. Is that?
Through the warden, I'm hoping that they have them available by then.
Okay.
But I certainly will have access to the information, to your questions, that I can drill it down to be more specific as I come out with our key performance indicators. As far as a timeline, they are still rolling out that dispatch system, and I believe that there is a southern region which is the last to have implementation. And again, they have to consider all of the geographical areas and the challenges that each respective service will experience with these changes. So I would hope that it's by end of year, but if not, I will still report based on the idea of conceptually what those could look like.
Okay, thank you, Chief Bromfield. Any further questions? If not, then just a motion to receive the report, moved by Councillor Black, second by Councillor Huntley. All in favor? Thank you. And Allison Young, our General Manager, People Services. So good news here.
Thank you.
So in April 2025, our benefits consultant, Mosey & Mosey, advised us of a projected 7% increase in annual benefit premiums effective November 1st, 2025. This increase would have added approximately $147,000 in annual costs. Given the significant financial impact and the opportunity presented by our improved claims experience, particularly in long-term disability, we chose to test the market by issuing a competitive RFP. As a result of this process, and through negotiations led by Mosey & Mosey, we secured a 7.1% decrease in overall premiums, equating to $159,860 in annual savings, along with rate guarantees ranging from 2 to 3 years. Over the next 3 years, these savings are expected to total approximately $502,470. So today I am requesting that the employee group benefit plan through Manulife and AIG Insurance be approved for budget effective November 1st, 2025, and that any savings realized over the next 3 years be placed in reserves to help offset the future increases once the rate guarantees have expired.
Thank you very much. Not often we get reports like this. And I know many of our lower tiers municipalities have been in on this RFP, so they are certainly gaining as well. So that's great news all the way around. I'll open it up for any questions. I see none, so a motion to receive then, moved by Councillor Martin and second by Councillor Burt. All in favor, thank you. All right. And we'll ask our General Manager of Operations and Fleet, Brian Robinson, to come to the podium. Thank you, Brian.
Thanks, Warden Clark. Through you to Council. The report in front of Council today is taking a look at recommendation to move forward with a creation of a depot master plan. There's been a lot of discussion with the county in the past few years about administrative spaces. So this plan proposing to put into 2026 budget for consideration is looking at how we manage our current operations facilities, what facilities are there, are they in the right location, is there right amenities, how we're working currently with our contracted services for winter operations, and looking at developing a long-term strategic plan for that infrastructure. It is slightly different than administrative facilities. The depots are part of the municipal class environmental assessment process. So this would be the first step into that EA process for any future works that may be required of those facilities. So that's the recommendation right now, is looking to get council to endorse simply putting that money into consideration for the 2026 budget. There's no actual decision being made here other than recommendation for future budget consideration. So that's the report in general.
Okay, thank you, Brian, for that. And certainly in touring some of our depots, we certainly need to do an overview. So I understand that. Questions? Yes, Councillor Taylor.
Well, thank you, Warden Clark. Thank you, Brian. Brian, I love the idea, but I just don't love the price. How did we come up with that number?
So through the warden, the cost is an estimate. It is based on a very similar exercise I put together when I was the Director of Public Works with the City of Kawartha Lakes. Based on the size of the facilities and the number of facilities that they have compared to the county and kind of scaling up and down. It's a budgetary estimate at this time.
So Warden Clark, if I can say that if this goes out to tender, council will be advised when the results come back and ultimately make the decision, correct? Okay. All right. Thank you, Brian.
Yes, through the chair.
Through you, the item would be included in the 2026 budget, and then it would, if the tenders come in within the allocated budget, it would be awarded appropriately. And that award would go on the purchasing awards report that comes to County Council.
So then if the tenders come back at $119,000, it's being awarded because it's within the 120.
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Councillor Graham.
Through you, Warden. Just a question of clarity, because I just want to understand, because there's certain paragraphs in the report that kind of make the report and the request a little more ambiguous. I understand what a county depot master plan would entail, but I'm just curious because there is some allusion to a larger administrative contribution or focus or exploration, which to me is a totally separate entity and it would be a totally separate expensive endeavor to pursue. So I'm just wanting for clarity when we read some of the paragraphs in here, it talks about being much more, public works focused. And I just want confirmation that that's the intent.
Yeah, through the warden, the intent is looking at operations works facilities. So we're running currently 6 of our own facilities plus some lease space at one of the other facilities. And is that the appropriate location, size, in general? It is focused primarily and solely on public works operations facilities.
Great, thank you.
Okay, Councillor Black.
Thank you, through your warden. I echo Councillor Taylor's concerns over the dollar value to do the study, but I support it because in looking at our situation in Selwyn, we have a county yard across the road from the Selwyn yard, and that county yard needs a significant amount of work. There is no employee spaces to rebuild that to a new site that would cost more than $120,000, I'm assured. So I just want to make sure that as part of the study requirements is that they are working with townships to look at space within township facilities and sharing space, be it lunchrooms, an office, that sort of thing. That kind of duplication we have today doesn't make sense to me, that we have sand domes across the street from each other. So I support it. I think the cost of even that alone would more than pay for the study.
So thank you, Councillor Black, and just part of the motion is to direct our staff to inquire with local municipalities. So I think then we need to be speaking to our lower tiers if we want that engagement as well. So not only for the staff to reach out, but our lower staff to be also aware that that's our expectations as lower tiers as well, if that's what each municipality wants the direction. So thank you. Yes, Councillor Martin. No.
I'll move the recommendation.
Okay, moved and seconder, Councillor Webb. All in favor? Thank you. Does anyone have a notice of motion? I see none. We'll go on to announcements and Councillor Huntley.
Sure, just this weekend, October 4th is the Millbrook BIA Fall Festival. So it'll come on down Saturday. The main street's shut down and lots of social groups and music to be heard and festive festivities to be had.
Okay, thank you. So that's in Millbrook this weekend. Also in Lang is Apple Fest on Sunday, so you can be busy in the county both days. Just want to announce that the circular economy for the month of October, that is starting as we are October 1st. And Councillor Wilford.
October 11th, 12th and 13th. It's the best agricultural fair, as far as I'm concerned, in Eastern Ontario in Asphodel, Norwood. If you've never been, it's well worth your while to come and see the Norwood Fair. You're always seeing friends and people from all over Canada that maybe you haven't seen in years, and all of a sudden, bang, there's somebody you haven't seen in 20 years. So you're all welcome.
And following up that we have the very best of the best in the county. Mayor Taylor from OSM has provided us with apples again from his own apple trees that he has picked especially for each and every member of council and staff here. They are the best in the province. Anyway, thank you, Mayor Taylor, for doing that. We're looking forward to each time you come in with those. Thank you. And we're now going to move into closed session under the